Well, whenever we went any place, we'd try to talk to the people instead of staying on a tour of any kind. If we could talk to people maybe who lived in that wherever it was in the world, as long as we could speak their language and they could understand and they could speak it. Most of the places we went, people could speak English. I mean, that is so general. Europe, China, Japan, all those places, there were always people who could speak English, and they would want to speak with us because they would like to practice their English. I got us through French a little bit. All I had was high school French. I never had any college French or any. And in those days, you didn't really learn conversational things. It was all, you decline the declamation of nouns and verbs and that kind of stuff. You didn't really learn how to speak. But anyway, so Harold knew some German and I knew some French. So between the two, and for all the people who could speak English was wonderful. It was in the fall. So it was, because I remember we waited with any of our trips into wherever we went, we waited till after the summer, till till the kids were all back in school. It wasn't as crowded. Like Europe is crowded in the summertime because people are all going there. So we would wait and go in the fall. Any place we were going like that, it would usually went in the fall, especially Europe. So it was nice going then because the children were back in school there. Some of the things that were in some of these countries, uh, well, like ahead of us here. I mean, some of the countries that we went to, we think we're so modern and all, and that the United States is always the head of our. We're not always. We learned that. Well, what we did, we we'd go to laundromats, and no matter where we were. I'll talk more about that when we just do the United States. But yeah, we'd take clothes that you could wear more than once, naturally, when you were traveling. We'd look for out of the way places to stay. It was more fun to stay in places like that. What I did after you called, I went down to the basement. I knew where I had all these books, a book from each of the places we went, and I had gotten out. We had a book where we wrote things in, like things that we were doing. We always kept track of what we were doing and so forth. You don't remember everything. So this one this one I pulled out first was Denmark, and this was things that Harold had written down, different places where he had been there, the places he stayed, and all like that. This is his handwriting now. Most of the rest of the countries are usually my handwriting, but this was his. Looking to see. Yeah, the different hotels that he stayed with over there. Not most of the time, though, he stayed with a family when he was there. Yeah, this was when we went over. I guess on our own. This was I didn't really. I should have looked through this before I called you. But anyway, that was why we got interested in Denmark because the United States was going see, and it was a district of the United States, which was our district, which was Long Island. And so it was a small district like that in Denmark. It wasn't the whole country. So it was certain cities and towns and so forth in Denmark. Harold and I have gone to many different churches all over the world. it didn't make any difference to us, as long as a Christian church. And if we could go to a service, wonderful. And if we couldn't, well, we just went in and visited. And of course, when we in Europe and all, we saw all these cathedrals. I mean, that was really. But even here, we went into this little church. No one was there. The door was opened. We walked in. We weren't going to do any damage at all. But little things that you do on your own, if you get away from the crowd, or and you do things on your own. That's what meant so much to Harold and me always. If we could if we could do things like that on our own, which, as I say, we did. We went to this church, but seeing this mural that was painted on this wall, we thought was very interesting.